Live.
We are on the countdown. The seconds are ticking. We're live.
Welcome, Karen.
Happy birthday, Deborah.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, there you go. Payback.
Somebody's been busy this morning because Karen Crest got up and put my birthday on the page. I started my birthday at really, days ago. Beth Hackert shows up with flowers.
Nice.
And then Karen Sunday shows up with, oh my gosh, you guys, you didn't know this. She showed up with a birthday cake. And then she showed up and she gave me an electric toothbrush. I have never used an electric toothbrush. That should have been a video. I had speckled toothpaste and my glasses were like Snow White. I didn't know you're supposed to keep your mouth shut. It was like crazy. Anyway, thanks, Karen. I did much better last night. Okay,
funny.
so let's change the subject, Karen.
Okay.
What are we doing today?
Karen is here today to explain to us how she makes these cute little flowers.
Oh, they're cute. I'm going to zoom in on the flowers.
And look at all the little different flowers that you can make.
Yeah.
So, Karen, I'm going to leave it to
Okay.
you now.
So I have, what I'm going to show you is, this is one of my favorites that I work with. And these are, and I don't know if I'm going to say it correctly, Kanashi flowers, and it's from Japan, and it's how they would adorn barrettes or hair decorations and things like that. This is where it came. So it's manipulating fabric into different various shapes and mostly flowers.
She sounds like she knows what she's talking about.
She does, doesn't she?
So
We might be out of a job.
no, this is one time.
We had to do a lot of convincing to get Karen to do this.
So I just, hope I don't confuse too many people. But what I did was I've started a flower here, so I'm going to show you how it goes. This is your
sucker bends.
Yeah, it bends in half, and I don't know if you can see. We've got numbers, and I'm going to show you how they work.
Yeah, they're showing a little. Yeah.
Okay. So you take your fabric, you fold it in half, so it's all in here. You take your scissors.
Oh.
I could have never figured.
Well, there's very detailed directions that come with these, so it doesn't mean you have to.
Be smart enough to
Okay.
figure it out.
So what you do is you have about 36 inches, of thread. They say strong thread. I just double mine is how I do it. And I always keep these petals to the left. And when you start, you're going to go in on one, but you want to go in on the open one because you don't want to attach. So you
go in on the open slotted
Yep.
side. Okay.
And I always keep this on this side.
You want this hooked?
No, I want it hooked.
Oh, sorry.
Yep. No, you got to keep it together.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh,
And you're going
across.
go down in 2. There's where your thread goes. Then you're going to go back up in 3.
they're
Oh, you have
all
to do that
numbered.
for, you have to do that for
Yes.
each petal.
As long as you can count, you're doing good.
Karen. At least it doesn't have an alphabet because Karen always gets her alphabet mixed up.
Oh, look at that. See, I had no idea that you stitched it in that thing. I thought that
Never
was
did
just the
I.
template that you cut it with or something.
Yeah. It's
And
just
I
your
didn't
form.
realize that each one of those only made a petal.
Neat.
Now see, I got a little bit nervous because I'm on camera and this is like,
We keep telling her not to be nervous, but she's not
No.
listening to us.
Oh, so I see you need a pretty good sized piece of thread, don't you?
and that's why. But it looks like it's gonna shorten up. So there's my 11, and then when I come back out on 12,
You just had enough.
well,
Yeah, but now she's
hang on
going
a
to pull it,
second.
right?
So now, see all the threads how they are here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Okay. So then you're gently going to just take this here, and when you pull it, see if I can.
I would have that
Oh,
so
my
knotted up and messed up.
The trick is when you're doing it is you keep your knot to your left, and you just keep holding that kind of in your hand. Otherwise, if you let this kind of be
Twist.
dangling, it'll get twisted around here
Right,
and around your
right.
thread. So And then from there, you would just take where it was knotted.
The start of it.
You can pull this out a little bit,
All right.
work its way out, and then this is how you would take it
And tie them together.
and tie them together.
Oh my soul.
And then that's what makes the flower.
Cool.
Oh my goodness.
So you said at the start, how long should your thread be?
About 24, 36 inches. That's
We'll do
what
the
I do.
whole flower.
We'll do
all
the whole
your
flower,
petals, not
yep.
just per one petal.
Yep.
Okay.
Because
Isn't that
really,
cool?
if you look at this all pulled, I'm only
Yes.
a little bit longer there, and that's
Yeah.
about I use about 24
Okay.
inches, about that.
That's
Okay.
really neat.
Nice.
And of course, if you have one of the smaller ones, so these here are still available.
So these ones down here we
The
have
one-
in the shop, and we can still get these.
Yes. And this is the flower. It's done the same principle, except it's an oval, and it makes a rounded leaf
I
and not
like
a pointed.
the rounded
I don't.
one.
And
You
this-
don't?
No,
Well,
I like
does that
this.
surprise
This
me
is-
that I like it and you don't? No.
So that would make two. This is this size here,
Yes.
and then this one would be a little bit bigger.
So then you just put a
Cool.
button in the middle.
Yep. So this is some of the things like I've done is a needle case
look at
where I
that.
take the button and I just put this is this size flower, but you can put a bigger one. Yep. And it just and what I do, what is a good thing is to have your buttons with your shank.
Yes.
Okay.
Because then you put the glue. I have just tacky glue, and I will put a little bit of glue on the center,
Oh, and it goes right down in that hole.
and it goes in the hole. It
Right.
adheres nice, and then I take one of the clips, and I kind of put that there, and it just holds it in place.
Oh, so you
And-
don't sew the button on.
No,
And
Until
that
the glue sets.
this is glue,
Yeah.
and then once that's glued, then I glue it, and then I just glue it on my tab, and I
So she
find
doesn't sew the button at all.
No.
no.
I'm surprised
You could
that
use a glue
holds
gun.
it.
You could use a glue gun though too.
You could, depending on the type of glue, but I've always found this dries clear and it
What is that? What are you using?
tacky glue.
We used to have that in the shop. We
Yeah.
brought that in for somebody.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I bought this one from the shop because it made it nicer to go around instead of the big bottle. I just found this was more precise to kind of get without having a lot of glue going around.
Janet wants to know if you're going to work on these in the bus.
I might.
Actually, she has a project we're going to show you. That would be a good project to take on the bus.
Oh, okay.
So for you that don't know, tell them where you're going, Karen.
Oh, I'm going with a bunch of fun ladies, and we're going on a bus trip in a couple, almost 3.5 weeks now.
Awesome.
And we're going to Paducah. We're going to Missouri Star. We're going
Ooh.
to Tennessee. We're going doing a lot of shopping and having a lot of fun. Some are even
Nice.
talking about going swimming at some
Nice.
dam, but that's not me.
Oh,
But
so now you have something else to
So
show.
what were you going
Okay.
to say about these, that you had contacted the company?
okay, I
and-
contacted Clover themselves because this is my favorite flower to work with.
And we couldn't find it anywhere on Checkers or anywhere to order.
and they're discontinued in making them. So what you have here are the ones that are still available, and
but they are a bit bigger.
And
They're this
Checkers
size.
does have
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one that makes this.
Yeah.
Is that one.
Mm-hmm.
I like that size.
And then the other thing I will show you.
But you might be able to find those little ones like on eBay or somewhere.
I
or-
have seen them on Etsy,
Etsy,
and
right.
I have
Yeah.
seen some copycat companies,
Oh, Steph,
from
that would
China,
be cute.
whatever.
Stephanie says you could put a small one on top of a bigger one, like
and
is your.
people have done that
Yeah,
and
very
tried to do
cute.
that because
Yeah.
if you look at like this, you
Oh, wouldn't that be cute?
can do it like that.
Yes, cute.
So the other thing I'm going to show you. And
Wait till you guys see this. Wow.
These are from the same company, aren't they?
This
These
is, and
yo-yos?
all of these yo-yo makers are from the same
Clover,
company.
yeah.
So these here, I made one in each size, and then I'll show you how these are the different size
look at those
yo-yos.
little ones. Aren't those cute?
Oh my
So-
soul.
So what this one is, and it's a little bit different because this one, when we hit cut around, I cut right along the edge here. This one, when you want to put in your fabric, you don't want to cut to the edge of the plastic.
Right.
So what you want to do, and I thought I had thread out, but I guess I don't. I'll show you as soon as I find my needle.
So do you use this as a template to cut out your circle and just cut bigger?
Yes.
Is that what you do?
Yeah.
Like just give yourself a bit of an allowance?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Let me get you some thread, Karen. Oh, you got some.
Stephanie, I am not singing happy birthday. If you could hear me sing, you wouldn't be asking me to sing.
No, there's
Oh,
no,
come on, Twilight.
there's
not
no
happening.
singing in this
Not
session.
happening.
Aw.
It ain't happening.
Stephanie's singing from home. I can hear it, Stephanie.
So, the reason why you do this, and this one's really easy. I know. Stop it.
You weren't shaking. I was just trying to make you shake.
Oh, I can feel myself shaking.
Oh, stop. You're doing
You're
wonderful.
doing great.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, guys.
You are. See, once you do it, then it gets so much easier.
I'm waiting for my pink slip when I'm done.
Oh, my gosh.
You're not getting a pink slip.
No,
Do you
that-
see
that
this
was-
shop? You're not going anywhere.
We got high plans for you today.
Oh, dear. Okay, so when you have this, instead of just kind of go, you want to make sure you have this over. Now, see, the holes go a different way.
Oh, right.
Are they
So-
numbered?
Nope, they're not numbered, so you can start anywhere.
Okay.
I usually kind of just, you line up this and this, and again, they're all on instructions. So you're going to come up that hole there,
Yep.
and then you're going to hold this down with your finger inside here, and you're going to go there.
Did you knot your thread?
Yes.
Yes, okay, yep. Okay. Oh,
You thought
yeah.
maybe you had to pull it through something.
Well, I didn't know if she left a tail to tie at the end or
That's what-
anything. Yeah. Oh, that one's easy.
That was easy. And then it makes this.
I might not get the thread as tangled on this one.
No, but so when you'll go
got it.
all the way around, okay?
Yeah.
And then
Take the plastic out.
when you pop the plastic out,
Then you pull your
then
thread.
it's all this in it.
And it makes
And this here folds in. So otherwise, if you cut it right to the end, you're going to see all this raw edge. So the way
Right.
this happens, it tucks
It
all
sure
that
So
in.
does.
there's no raw edge showing
No.
there.
Oh, that's
nice.
nice.
Yeah.
So a project that a friend asked me to do,
Oh, this
Look
is
at this,
gorgeous.
you guys. This is absolutely
this
stunning.
is Kim Deal.
Stephanie says they're all in their underwear.
Who's in their underwear?
Stephanie said everybody's in their underwear. You know how
Okay.
they say when you're nervous and you're speaking to picture everybody in their underwear?
Well, probably in their PJs having coffee, I guess. So it would be. So this is from the Simple Seasons book of Kim Deal,
This is sweet.
and this is what it's going to be.
Your colors are.
They are.
Beautiful
Look at
here.
those
It's
country
all- look at
colors.
that.
It's beautiful.
So you just
How
have
many
the
did you
board
say was? How many yo-yos is in that?
120.
when you're
Ugh.
done? You still have a few
Yeah.
more to put on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have a few more around the edge here where the
Yeah.
rabbits are
Oh,
gonna
it's
go.
gorgeous.
I love it, Karen.
So
Great
So,
job.
all of you guys who are speaking for these template thingies, message the shop, please, and let us know.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do here. Let me do a close-up so that you guys can say.
and then all of these different size yo-yos
So
can
I'm
be
just gonna
ordered from
I'm just gonna
Checkers.
point out this one is $9, and I'm pretty sure the new ones coming in are gonna be 11. Just so
Right,
you all
because that's
know.
been
That's
in
an
the
older
shop for a
stock.
while. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Just
So just say the color and the shape if you want one. Okay?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, it's lovely. I can't wait to see this when it's done.
I know.
So nice.
Thank you, Karen. You did awesome.
You did. You did
You
a great
you really
job.
did. And I'm not joking.
Okay.
Checklist.
Bye-bye.
Checklist is done. Okay, Twyla's
We've
on.
got her primed up now for another one.
Oh
Yeah.
dear, no.
We have another show. We have a couple of things to show you this morning. We're just
Okay.
going to.
Get my mess out.
Where are you going? The other side, or you want
Good
me on
morning,
the other side? I can go on the other
everybody.
side. You want me on
Okay.
the other side?
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay.
Good morning. It was beautiful, wasn't it? She did an awesome job. Thank you.
She did.
Okay, so Twyla's just getting set up.
Yeah.
We After Twyla's done, we have something else to show you, something that we've never kind of done before, something a little bit different. I think you guys are all going to like, so stick around. Also, Karen Sampson is working on a project for me today with the shop.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I am.
I asked you about it. So, because we don't have a web page, we've been getting lots and lots of comments and requests for people to shop for fabric on the web page. As you know, as our fabric comes in Friday night, everything leaves so quickly that to take time to put it on the website and then update the website would be more work than that's worth. So because of our big turnover in fabric, what we've decided to do the first of every month, Karen's going to come in and tidy up our shelves because I have a new word. It's called Karenated. So Karen is
Karenified.
Karenified.
I thought you said it was.
Yeah,
Karenified.
Karen is going to come in and Karenified our shelves. So at the
Which
first
is a good thing.
Yes, at the first of every month, we are going to go through every shelf and take snapshots of what is in stock. So you guys can shop from those photos. Those photos will be up there. We'll leave them up there. Sometimes from month to month, some things will have sold out, but it will give you guys kind of a walk through the shop. So that's what we're going to be doing. Karen's going to work on that today. We're going to switch to Twyla now. I'm going to turn the camera off.
Hi guys. So I wanted to show you what this week's calico block is, and then we're just going to talk about a couple of the new little creative grid rulers quickly.
Yes.
So this week's block is this thing here, which is, I was calling it a beehive, but apparently it's called a bee skep. So I had to look that word up because I didn't know what it was. Do you know what that is?
Karen,
A
Twyla,
skep? A bee skep?
Twyla has a history lesson
I
for us
do.
all.
Okay,
So
I'm
apparently it originated like over Europe somewhere, and it was years ago. It was what the farmers used, and they took straw and coiled straw into this like dome shaped thing, made a hole down at the end, and that they'd sit it out and just leave it for the year, and the bees would move in, make their honey in that,
Okay.
and that was their, years ago, like their equivalent to hives, which, so it wasn't as efficient as our hives today, because in our hives today you can take out your cone and get your, this, they had to totally destroy the skep to get their honey at the end of the year and build a new one the next year.
But that was a renewable source because the firewood probably was for making fires.
What firewood?
What firewood?
No, you're saying farmers in Europe, they probably use wood for cooking and heating.
Yeah, but this was made out of straw.
No, I'm saying
Oh.
that they wouldn't have built a honeycomb like they do now.
No, they wouldn't have.
Oh, I
No,
see
they
what
probably
you-
wouldn't have. And they
Yeah.
used straw and things that they had. So anyway,
I wasn't going. I couldn't figure out where she was
yeah,
going
me
with that wood
either. I
thing.
was like not thinking what
All
she
right,
was
I'll be
thinking.
quiet
No,
now.
you're
See?
doing great. You're thinking way ahead of
The
me.
pink slip's coming.
No, it isn't. So this is the bee skep, and I left it undone a little bit because I want to show you a couple things that was interesting. Number one, do you remember last week when I told you like that underneath, if you want to cut some of your stuff down so that it isn't so bulky? So this piece of the handle started out as this longer piece. and
Oh my
it's cut
soul,
in
that
half.
was huge. Why would they make you cut such a big one?
Well, just because it's easier to turn bigger pieces than small pieces, right?
Oh.
Anyway, but I just cut half, which is what Lori Holt does, but lots of times I cut some out from the bulk underneath. So the thing that's tricky about this is just layered in strips, which is fine, but we are going to join, which this isn't squared up, the stand. See how this is standing on a little stand?
That is so cute.
We're going to join that. So what they recommended is, as I glued this down, it said leave the bottom part unglued, because when we go to measure and square up this block, we're going to trim this with a little less than 1/4 of an inch down at the bottom. Then we're going to lift this up. We're going to lay this after we trim it across there, and we're actually going to stitch our 1/4 inch seam under there. And then it's actually going to look like it's just barely sitting on that. Because if you trimmed it right evenly across, then if your seam wasn't perfectly straight, you might have some white showing or whatever. So if you make that just a smidge smaller than 1/4 of an inch down there, that will be your seam allowance. And when you sew it and turn it under, whatever it is, I'm upside down, I can't even see what I'm doing. It will just barely be under the
So do you have to
lip.
take it off that background fabric to stitch that to your machine?
No, because this is glued. up here, but I didn't glue. That's what I'm saying. I didn't glue down here because I want to be able to lift and trim. Sew that on, and then I can go and do my applique all the way around, right? And then finish up trimming the rest of it or whatever.
So those design boards really come in handy doing this project.
So you had mentioned that last week, and like, what would you do if you didn't have a design board? So I did try at home. Cardboard will work.
Oh.
Like if you don't have a design board and you want to try this,
you need to.
But you do need to eventually invest in design boards. They are awesome, not just for this, but for laying out your blocks and moving like from point to point when you're like to the ironing board table and back to your machine or anything. I love them.
That is nice.
But a piece of cardboard, like out of the bottom of a cardboard, like a corrugated cardboard, not like a cereal box cardboard, will work if you're in a pinch. So that's this week's. And the same thing here, I didn't glue all the way here. So once this glue is set, which it should be, these points, I'll be able to lift this up and start my stitching in under and go around, and then do my lay this down and go around. So again, these are cut in half, and I may trim a bit more of those off if I lift it up and it looks like I can get away with a little bit more just to get rid of some.
You would be that friggy?
Well, it would depend. I'll see how bulky it looks.
Okay, cool.
So that's this week's calico block.
Okay, I just finished this one.
Okay,
then
so
you can see.
Oh, look,
she finished it.
Now I'm going to show you. So I've gone all the way around in doing the stitching. So I'm back to the end. So what you do is, there's where your knot is.
Yeah.
You go back in there. You overlap just that first stitch. Okay. You come out through the rough side, and then this all pops off. And then you just pull.
So that's one less yo-yo that you have to make now, Karen.
Well, no, these were just samples. I already have all my other yo-yos made.
You do?
Yeah.
I like how it just finishes that inside edge and there's absolutely no raw fabric in there.
And it says to tie a knot there, but what I generally do, because this gets stitched down with that opening, is I just kind of pull it down into the middle here.
Because you're never going to see down in there.
No. And then, whoops, caught my pinky. And then I just do a couple of quick stitches here, and then it's all ready to go underneath.
That is nice. That's really
stitch
cute.
it down.
It's really cute.
Thank you, Karen.
Very nice.
You're welcome. So I just wanted everybody to see that.
Okay, so we got these rulers in. When I was at the airport going to Saskatchewan, I was Googling rulers and trinkets and stuff. And I come across these two little rulers that are really quite simple, something you might already have in your stash that you don't even know that you got. But these have unique lines on them, don't they, Twyla?
They do. So what she's talking about, there's this one, which is the 1.5 inch square. These are Creative Grids rulers. 1.5 inch square. This sells for $13. This is a 2.5 by 4.5 and sells for $18. So this one obviously doesn't do quite as much as that one, because I mean, really. But just to show you, it's got really good markings. So it does have black and white markings, which makes it really good. So if you're working on, say, a lighter fabric, you might want to follow the darker line. And if you're working on a darker fabric, you might want to follow the lighter line. So that's really neat.
It wasn't until you put that on the darker that I even saw that white line there.
I know, right? So it really helps, because really the white line doesn't show up at all on the white, right? So it's really helpful. So the other thing that's on this one, besides being able to do your little half square triangle and whatever, see how they have the bullseye in the center? So you could also use this for fussy cutting, right? It would work really good if you wanted to fussy cut a little square in one of your blocks or something, because it would have the center marked so nicely. So you can just basically do like a half square triangle and square it up, like whichever you want. So like you can follow your line, obviously, from corner to corner. Or if your square looks pretty decent on two sides, you can just go down to the two sides and then just square up these two sides.
For those of you that like or want to do miniatures, this would be
really nice.
Yeah.
But the other thing this is good for is like hourglass, or can you see that? I don't know if you can tell that those are two different fabrics.
Yeah.
So because it's got the grid going both ways, it works perfect for squaring up like an hourglass block, which an hourglass, for those of you who don't know, would have two sides like this.
Yeah.
Right? Like with the two pieces. So there'd be a seam going the whole way across. I was too lazy to make one last night. This was in my stash, so I grabbed it. So there, then you can trim, and you're perfectly centered on this line and this line.
Sometimes we look at those really unique small pieced projects and think, how do they keep everything so
squared up and nice? But you can start with a bigger square and square down, and you'll be more accurate building a bigger square and then cutting it down. Yeah. So especially when you're talking something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
So we all want projects that look like Nancy Steve's.
Yes. And these do have the grippy stuff on the back, so they're pretty good.
So those have grippy all over the back of it.
This one, the 1.5 square, besides having the circles, there is like a kind of a roughness to this all over because it's so small, just to give you a better adherence. So this next one is this next one is kind of neat. Oh, I was going to show you this.
Okay.
This would also work. This is huge block, but this is what I had for a pinwheel. But look how you could square up for a pinwheel too. See?
Yes, you could.
Because it has both color lines, right? So you could square up both.
Say hi to Single John.
Good morning.
Single John works here now on Saturdays. So if you guys get your parcels packaged wrong, it's all his fault.
Nothing like throwing you under the bus. Holy moly. So this one is 2.5 by 4.5, and it's got lots of lines on it, and it's pretty neat. Again, it has can you see the white and the dark?
Yeah, okay.
Again, it has like white and dark lines so that you can use it on either color fabric. It does have the grippy dots, but this one doesn't have the roughness all over like this one does.
And you were saying when you use that, you notice the difference between
I do notice a difference between.
So I'm wondering if that grippy spray would work on that.
I bet it would. Everybody that's used that grippy spray says it's wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't bad. I've used rulers that are way worse, but when you're used to using Quilter Select, man, it's hard to go to another ruler.
Yeah.
So on this one, the dark circles are measuring in 1/2 inch increments, so 1/2, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5. The white is your even inches. So if you look, here is your 2.5 inch line, this dark line going across here. So for starters, if you were working with squares and you wanted to square up a half
Karen,
square
can you
triangle.
shut our overhead light off because we're getting a glare. We forgot. I would have,
Yeah.
shut that off.
So if you want a 2.5 inch.
Thank you.
Ooh, there we go.
Perfect.
So if you line that up, now if your square is a little wonky, you may want to cut out of the middle so that you can line up all 4 sides and fix it, right? But if your square is half decent, which mine may not be, you can start down on 2 sides that look good and then just trim this side and then turn it
And trim the other side.
and trim the other side, and you'll get with just trimming 2 sides instead of trimming 4. But if your square's a little wonky, you can do all 4 sides from the center. It also has, I don't know if we can see that. We could see it when the light was on.
What's that?
Can you see, is that showing that there's like
Yeah.
a little bit of a different color in this last 1/4 inch here?
Yes. See, it looks like grippy spray there.
Yes, on that last 1/4
Frosted.
inch. Yep. And then there's like a stitch line right along there. So you could also use that if you needed to trim like paper piecing, a small, or any place that you wanted to trim a small 1/4 inch seam. It's really quick to find it as opposed to finding your little 1/4 inch lines and lining it up, because it's basically a solid line that goes right across
it's
there,
got that
right?
sticky
It does,
grip
right
all
along the edge. So you can use it for that. You can also use it for, so here's a flying geese. So look, where your 2 lines intersect, there's your flying geese, right? And you can see that your 1/4 inch line is right at the point of your flying geese. So you can use it to, you would center whichever color lines, because remember there's the black lines and there's the white lines. So the white doesn't really show up good on that one. I'd use the black because I'm blind.
It depends on the fabric.
On the fabric, yep. So follow your lines, and then you can trim.
So the downfall is you can only use this for flying geese for this size or smaller.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So what I wanted to show you was this one is a pretty good. I did pretty good on this one. This one, my legs actually follow the lines quite nicely. But as with most of my flying geese,
Oh yes, because yours are so imperfect.
if you look, when I get my point settled in nicely up there, do you see where the black line is off of my thing?
Yeah.
But I don't sweat that. I would still use that flying geese. I know there are those out there who wouldn't, but I do.
I haven't seen Nancy on here yet this
So
morning.
just to show you, I wouldn't line up one of those legs and let this one be off that much.
No, you were kind of.
I would kind of center it so that it's
They
a
were
little
both-
off there, little off there, and make do.
Okay.
But that will give you your 1/4 inch seam from your point for your seam allowance quite nicely so that you don't lose your point when you're...
So can you make it a smaller flying geese than that too?
Oh, that's a good question. Could you? You could because... no, you can't.
It
Can
has-
you?
So what size is that ruler?
That is a 2.5 by 4.5.
Okay.
Because
And
that's
the
your
most-
only... That's your only... Oh, right there.
you
We can do a
small.
2.5. We can do
for
a
those
2.5.
miniature people.
We can do a 2.5.
Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be a cute flying geese?
So 2.5 by
Yeah.
1.5. Is that what that is? Yes, 2.5
2.5
by
by
1.5.
Yeah, that would be a perfect.
Yeah, right there.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So, you wanna show
So, yeah, so again, with this, you could use this because this is your 2.5 inch line. So, if you settle that there and there, you can trim at least these 3 sides before you have to turn it and flip it and do the other side,
Dorothy
right?
Coggins does it, so she's glad you're showing how to use rulers.
Well, this isn't...
This isn't high tech.
This one isn't high tech. This is just, this one's pretty simple. There's not a lot this one can do. I shouldn't say that. It's great for that
great.
size. It's
It
very
is.
good. Yeah.
And those are a common flying geese size.
So just to show you, I should have ripped the seam out and just taken this block off, but I didn't. So if you had a square in a square, this would also be nice. So say you're working on the square in a square block, you could square up this side, right?
Oh yeah.
And trim it. And then flip it around and pretend this isn't here, that this is your seam allowance
Yeah.
out past here,
And
and
then
then
trim
trim
it
that side, and you would be able to square up your square in a square and still keep your center square nicely centered,
For
right?
a little ruler, and I'm surprised at what that can do.
Yeah, yeah.
I know.
It is.
When I was at the airport, I'm thinking, oh, that's pretty cool that
Yeah.
all that comes off.
Yeah.
Of that. Well, it's so many markings.
So that is the 2.5 by 4.5, and it's, what did I say?
18.
And this one is the 1.5 by 1.5, and it's 13, and we have some in stock of both.
Yes, we do.
So they're pretty neat little rulers, and they're creative grids, which they do have a really good reputation, and their
Yeah.
backing is pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's not
Yeah.
like Quilter Select, but Quilter Select doesn't make a lot of specific.
They don't, but they're starting.
They're starting
I think.
to,
They're
yeah.
starting
There's
to
a
get into some
60 and
specialty
there's a
things
3-in-1,
now. So
so
hopefully
hopefully-
they'll. But
Yeah.
these
But
are
the
really
spray,
good. A
yeah.
lot of people love the
Yeah.
creative.
And
grids.
that grippy spray would make it
Yeah.
even better.
And the good thing when you're dealing with a little piece like this, by the time you rest your hand on there,
Yeah.
it doesn't go too far on a ruler this
On
size.
that size.
It's worse when you're dealing
Got a
with like
big-
your
yeah,
24-inch
yeah.
long one or whatever, right?
So Cherish must already have it. She said, this is great. I'm using it to cut up my scraps. So Cherish must
Oh,
already-
that is a great one. So if you do leaders and enders,
Yes.
like for little projects or anything, that would be great for trimming up your leaders and enders. Like, and then you could think of the little postage stamp quilt you could do with that sucker.
And use up all your little scraps. How many times do you get a little piece of fabric?
I know.
And you tend to just throw it because you don't want to frig with
Yeah.
it. But if you kept that by your machine and a little cutting mat,
Yeah,
and every scrap, you use that for it.
yeah. You would have a
You
nice
would
little
soon
stash
collect.
that you could soon utilize, make like a cute
Yes.
table runner, anything. Like, yes, a postage stamp quilt out of that is a big undertaking, but a little table runner
Yeah.
out of your scraps isn't such a big undertaking,
But
right?
what's so fun is actually creating something out of something that was garbage.
I know.
Or what potentially was
right?
garbage. And then
The
you.
older I get, the more I like scrap quilts and
Yes.
like the fact that you're using all that. It's
Yep.
a sign I'm getting old, I think. Okay, Deb, you're going to take this away.
Actually, I'm going to let you do that because you know more about designers.
Oh, no, I don't. But anyway.
Oh, yes, you do.
Okay.
So.
Here, switch coffee.
Sorry, we kind of just switched roles here. So this is the Moda book. I posted it on my page. and a lot of people commented. So my rep is going to be here soon, and I have to make a decision on what to order. So I thought you guys might like to see close-up pictures. So we're just going to flip through the book.
Yep.
And if you see anything that you got to have,
or something you really think Deb needs to make sure she brings into the shop,
give me thumbs up or give me some suggestions, okay?
So the
Good
first
morning,
one
Tim.
is
Thank you.
French
Judy?
General.
Want the light on or on?
No,
The light
opposite
might
glares.
glare on that
Okay.
paper.
Yeah.
So the first one is French General, which their stuff is always popular. And it's another red and kind of, what do you call that, taupe, beige,
Yeah. Look at the
tan.
colors.
Look, I think it's just gorgeous.
Yeah. Isn't that a nice color?
It's beautiful. And look at these. Like, if you don't like a lot of red in your quilt, like if you just worked with these with just a little bit of,
Yeah. I'm not a red person.
oh, I am. This is so pretty.
I know you are.
But like I said, you could, or even if you just incorporated some of these, right? Like, they're beautiful prints. They're so tasteful.
We need to go through with a pen and mark down which ones we gotta have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Then this, oh, this is Bunny Hill. Everybody loves Bunny Hill.
Look at the colors there.
Yeah. She does a lot of blues, doesn't she?
She does.
Although her last one was pink and reds, wasn't it? What was it?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
it was. I can't remember what it was called,
Yeah.
but it was pink. But she had done a blue one before that. Look at the patterns. She almost always has some really cute applique patterns with
But
hers.
those applique patterns, I look to bring them in. They're friggin' expensive.
Yeah, but anything
I
applique
know,
is because
I know.
it's
I get that.
templates and stuff, right?
I know, but no.
Look how
them.
soft and nice that is. So I would say that this is more cream. I don't know if that's showing
Yeah, it
instead
is.
of white. It's
Yeah.
not like a pure white. It's creamier,
Yeah.
which I love that because I like a
Carol
cream.
likes French General and Bunny Hill. Thanks.
Well, so far you're batting 2 for 2
so
there,
that means
Carol.
I gotta get
Let's
the whole
see.
book so
Yeah.
far, Carol.
And who is this? Oh, this is a new designer. That's why. So her name is Catherine Watson. So she's got some interest. Oh, I like this pattern. What do you think of that?
That's pretty.
And this one.
Yeah, that's the one I like.
I was
the
going to say,
best.
Deb will like this one.
Isn't it? I think I'm changing.
I think you are too. You guys, it's so funny because when we first looked through this catalog, every single thing that I said, oh, I like this. Deb said, I don't like that. And everything she said, oh, I like this. I said, I don't like that. But we found one at the end of the book that we
and
both
let's
said.
not tell them.
No,
Let's
there
not
was
tell 'em
one.
which
So you
one.
guys can pick at the end which one you think we both liked.
Yeah, okay. Oh, and whoever guesses whichever one that we both liked, whoever guesses it gets a surprise in their next order.
Okay, there we go. Good one. The first one that we see in the comments that guesses
The
or
first
sends
one.
us a message if they don't get it.
Yeah. There's one collection we both agree
Yeah.
on.
So this is this new lady, and I haven't paid attention to anything of hers, but it's kind of got a bit of a modern feel to it, doesn't it? But I like it.
That is nice.
It is very nice.
I gotta be careful what I say now, so I'm gonna say it's
Well,
nice to everything.
just because there's ones I say I don't like, it
I
just means
know.
I wouldn't probably use it myself, right?
Yes.
So don't you find a lot of Minnick and Simpson stuff
Our-
has a very patriotic
yeah,
feel for this,
that's
for
what-
American
It's more
patriotic.
American, yeah.
That's what,
Every once in a while they'll have one out that isn't.
but-
Yeah.
And there's always some prints
There's
in it
always
that
a
you
few
could
that-
pull out that,
Exactly.
that don't have like quite such a patriotic feel.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't like the stars, that you could
Yeah.
go with some of these other ones, right?
See, I like that blue.
I love their colors together though. Very nice. Oh, Kansas Trouble, everybody's
Who
favorite.
doesn't like Kansas Trouble?
This
I
is
like
going to be
that-
Karen's favorite, probably, don't you think?
I'm loving
Yeah,
it.
she's loving it.
I like the middle.
Which one do you like, Karen, out of those patterns?
I like this one
And that
this
one?
Oh,
yeah.
I like
Yeah.
the middle one. Yep.
But the middle one.
Now, I kind of like this one with the dark background. I think I'm kind of liking these dark
You're going
background
to the
things
dark
lately.
side,
I am. I'm
okay.
going to the dark side.
Look at this.
Oh, look at these.
Denise likes the blue that was on page 3.
That must have been French General, I
Yeah.
think, because it was right at the start of the book. Just look at those colors. Oh, I
It's
love
gonna be
these
hard
colors.
to know what to order.
And I'm more to the bottom of the page.
You like the navies
I
and
like-
stuff,
I
and
love
burgundies,
the
don't you?
navies, yeah.
But look at these. I just love these.
Yeah.
So nice. Oh, I love this.
I love it.
This is so me because it's so happy. Yep, so
Let's look at
happy.
the patterns here. What's patterns?
So this
like
is
this
Crystal
pattern.
Manning.
Nice scrappy one.
They're scrappy, aren't they? They have a scrappy feel, which
yeah.
I really like that feel. Like, look at that. Isn't that
Yeah.
pretty? Look at that cheater. I like that. Oh, and it's in blue. Yeah, I really like those. I like them all. I think I'm addicted. Hello, my name is Twyla.
You need help.
I need help.
So this is Twyla's. Well, we both like this, but this isn't one we both totally agree on. So this isn't
No.
the answer. This
Oh,
is
so
one of Twyla's
give them the
favorites.
answers. Yeah, this is one
I'm
of my
gonna
favorites.
shut up now.
Right there.
I'm gonna kick you.
So this is Sherry and Chelsea, and I just find their stuff is so happy and lighthearted and whatever. It just makes me happy when I look at their fabric. Like,
I like the patterns.
which one do you like?
I like the flowers. I bet you
This
like.
one?
Yeah. I bet.
the pumpkins are cute.
I love this one.
That one's cute.
I
Yeah,
love
Oh,
that.
that's why
actually,
I
oh,
like
really
it.
I
nice.
really like that. Yeah. But just look how happy and lighthearted those are.
I don't see any happiness there.
You don't? Like, that just makes my heart sing because it's so happy and light and like, oh, so fresh and spring. Look at that right there. How can you not like that?
That is a pretty one. That
That
is pretty.
is drop dead
But I
gorgeous.
like it in the green better.
Oh, see, now this is
Okay.
my least of all of the things on this page.
the
This
young
is
with
my
Deborah.
least favorite.
Yeah, I like
yeah, see,
that.
I'm the odd man out. I
Stephanie's
know.
with Twyla.
Okay, so this is Ellie.
Brenda Riddle.
Brenda
I never heard
Riddle.
tell
Now-
Brenda Riddle till lately.
She usually has soft feeling, usually a very soft line. Like, look how soft. And if you like soft, that's very attractive. Very, like, low key and
Oh,
soft.
Sue says this
and
is her best
delicate.
breakfast she's had in months.
Oh, well, there you go.
You know what, Sue? I had cake for breakfast. Somebody wished me happy birthday and said, I hope you're eating cake for breakfast. And I said, yes, I am.
So that was your birthday cake.
That
Karen
was my
made you,
birthday
right?
cake. I ate it for breakfast.
Yeah, good for you. So this is very light.
Marion, if you love something, tell me the collection, because with the internet lag, I'm not sure if we switched the page. Are you saying you love the Ellie? We need to get some of this. Me too, Linda. Linda says she's starting to like soft colors. And I
Yeah,
am
they're
too.
nice. So one thing you'll notice in a lot of these collections is the stripes are very
Okay,
popular, right? Or patterns that sometimes have, they may not actually be a stripe, but they have enough of a design that makes it, gives a stripe effect, right? That you've got something
see it.
that if you don't cut it right, it's going to make your block look really, really wonky.
But you don't tend to steer from those. You go right head first with them.
But in most patterns, if you have any type of a pattern that you're going to be doing like a half square triangle or anything like that, like on an angle, you can, the angle is more forgiving, right?
Okay, yeah.
Than a perfect square. So
Yeah.
like think outside of the box where you use those.
Oh, put a star beside Ellie. Susan likes Ellie. Which one's Ellie?
This
let's,
one.
Let's put a
Just
star
put
up
a
there.
star up
And
there.
which one was it that Marion likes? I think that was Ellie too. So I think we've
Okay.
got two for Ellie.
So this is Corey Yoder,
Thank you, Claire.
Peachy Keen. And I usually love Corey Yoder stuff, but I'll be honest.
I'm not into the blue and orange.
See, blue is my least favorite color, right? So I think because this has such, I love navies, but I'm not a blue.
I never know if I
fan.
should be looking at Charlie's face.
No,
or
not
the
my
book.
face. Look at the book. We're looking at fabric.
Yeah, but when you're talking, I feel like you
No,
wanna
no,
be-
no, you don't need to look at me.
Okay.
But this is cute. I really like this. I like ditzy little prints like these.
Ditzy.
Yeah. Well, those are called ditzy prints.
Oh, are they?
That's technically what they're called, a ditzy print. A little tiny flower is a ditzy print.
I learned something today.
There
I didn't
you
know that.
go.
I just always went with calico.
And so when I want to talk to Wally about being ditzy, I'll say, "Oh, you my little flower."
My little ditzy flower.
Oh my God.
So this is spring-like though too. Okay, what is it? Camille.
Camille.
So this is the
Oh.
lady who was half of the Bonnie and Camille, right? When her
Right.
mother designed with her. Then she went on her own. So the Nantucket line that was very popular
I
was
love
hers.
Nantucket.
Her first line by herself. And now her next line was Dwell, which was very similar to Nantucket, only it had some reds and pinks
And that's
thrown
why I
in.
didn't like Dwell as much. I
Yeah,
didn't like
because
the
it had,
red.
and I like Dwell better.
Okay, so
I didn't do anything
So
at a
which
Nantucket.
pattern do you like? I like this pattern.
Which one?
This one? I like that.
I love this one.
Do you really?
I do. I love that. That for a little girl's room
I don't
is
like hearts on a
sweet.
bed.
I know. Once again.
But look at the
But
colors.
she's going to love these greens, guys.
I know. Look at those
She's
colors.
going to love those greens.
Yep.
So her stuff always has, don't you find, she has a really good blend of larger prints, medium prints, stripes, like almost every one of her lines has that like really distinct.
Stripes are really good for binding.
They are very good for
I
binding.
have a hard time.
I love stripes and ginghams for binding.
Put a star beside lighthearted because we've got some people that like lighthearted.
Yeah, that's very, very pretty. To be honest, I have trouble with bigger prints. Other than borders.
Because you make a lot of little
Because I
sampler
make a lot of
blocks.
sampler blocks, and my quilts don't typically have like big block pieces in them. So I
Oh,
find
here's my favorite pattern. Look at those.
she's really into a house kit lately.
I don't know why, but I think that is cute.
And who was here yesterday said they didn't like house patterns?
know.
Somebody was here and said that yesterday.
Karen and I are making a house quilt, and I want to put some trees, like those trees in it.
Those are cute.
Yeah.
They are cute. So who is this?
This
this is
is,
Gingerbread or Ginger. I don't know
yeah.
how you pronounce that.
My grandson.